What if I told you that Tom Holland's Spider-Man got 3 movies in total in the MCU, but never fought his own villains? There are a lot of unanswered questions and theories in the MCU like this. For example, how did Mysterio know that the MCU's Earth is 616?
Dimension 616, I'm from Earth 833.
How did Tobey Maguire have a Tony Stark moment in No Way Home? Did Uncle Ben exist in the MCU, and if he did, what happened to him? And so on, which we are going to talk about in this video. And you're smart, so you know what to do. So let's get started. Starting with our favorite Spider-Man movie of all time, Spider-Man No Way Home. How exactly did Doctor Strange's spell work across the multiverse? Because in the end of No Way Home, we get to know that all the villains came from different universes because they knew Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but they didn't know which universe is Peter Parker, yet they were still coming. Well, Aunt May would love that. For example, when Dr. Octopus caught Peter, he realized that it wasn't his Peter, aka Tobey Maguire's, but he still traveled and came to the MCU just because he knew Spider-Man's real identity. So the theory is that when Doctor Strange cast the spell, it didn't just affect the MCU, but all universes throughout the multiverse. This means all their loved ones also forgot Peter. For example, in Tobey Maguire's universe, MJ and Harry forgot that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. In Andrew's universe, Gwen Stacy. Bad example, but you get the idea. Moving on to the next theory, how did Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man have a Tony Stark moment in No Way Home? So back in Spider-Man 3, when Flint Marko fell into the particle accelerator, if you pay close attention, the accelerator was big, and it started rotating counterclockwise, which turned him into Sandman. So in Spider-Man No Way Home, when Tobey made the cure, he created a mini version of the particle accelerator and cured him by reverse engineering. Now, in Spider-Man 3, the particle accelerator was built by multiple scientists, or at least they were operating it, but our OG Spider-Man was able to build this in a high school chemistry lab with a bunch of scraps. Yeah, just like how Tony made the arc reactor in a cave compared to the massive one in his lab. And because you've watched the video till now, I have a bonus detail for you. So I made a YouTube short about this detail almost 4 months ago, which gained almost 6 million views. A lot of people pointed out that I was wrong in that video, but I'm not. Here's the proof. When all 3 Spider-Men were making the cures for the villains in No Way Home, Tom Holland's Peter showed the cures he prepared for each villain. He placed them on the table normally, except for one, Green Goblin's. He slammed Goblin's cure onto the table and didn't even mention it, which caught Tobey's attention. And that's why he said this.
Look, I think that
NANI?!
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Now, the most interesting question is, how did Mysterio know that the MCU's Earth is 616? Because, of course, he wasn't a multiversal hero. So how did he know? The official Marvel Timeline book revealed that Mysterio most likely got this information from Dr. Eric Selvig's work during the events of Thor: The Dark World. While studying the Convergence, Selvig scribbled 616 on a chalkboard and underlined it multiple times. Dr. Eric Selvig's notes hinted at the multiverse way before it was officially confirmed in the MCU. But how did Mysterio find them? Well, Quentin Beck was an ex-Stark Industries employee, so of course, he, or someone from his team, got access to all the notes Selvig gathered for Mysterio's backstory. And for those who are going to comment, no, the MCU is Earth 199999, and the comic one is 616. Let me tell you something. It's also confirmed in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness that the MCU is indeed Earth 616. When Doctor Strange got captured by the Illuminati, Christine Palmer says this.
Our universe is 838, and we've designated yours 616. Yes.
All right, I know a lot of people are waiting for this part. How did Tom Holland's Spider-Man get 3 movies in the MCU and still never fight his own villain? And did Uncle Ben exist or not? But before we go any further, I want to introduce our channel membership, where you only have to pay $1 to get early access to new videos like this one before anyone else. All right, let's talk about the first one first. Tobey Maguire got 3 movies and fought multiple villains. Dr. Octopus and Sandman were trying to control or destroy the world. They didn't have any personal issues with Spider-Man. But Green Goblin, Harry Osborn's Green Goblin, and Venom were the only villains who tried to destroy Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. They were coming for Spider-Man specifically. In Andrew's universe, Spider-Man fought Harry Osborn, who particularly wanted to destroy Peter Parker, making them each other's villains. But in Tom Holland's case, he fought Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming, who was indirectly created by Tony Stark's Department of Damage Control. In Spider-Man Far From Home, it was Mysterio, an ex-Stark Industries employee who wanted control of the Edith glasses because Tony Stark abandoned him. He wanted revenge, but he didn't have any personal issues with Spider-Man at first, just like Vulture. Spider-Man interrupted their work, and that's why they had to fight him. And finally, in Spider-Man No Way Home, the villains were brought from other universes. And that's how Tom Holland never fought his own villains. And finally, did Uncle Ben exist in the MCU? And if he did, what happened to him? Very sadly, the answer is no. Uncle Ben does not exist in the MCU. In Spider-Man No Way Home, when he meets Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man for the first time, Tobey mentions Uncle Ben, and Tom doesn't seem to react to hearing the name, nor does he mention that he had one too. And at the end of the movie, he is not even buried next to Aunt May. May. This proves that he does not exist. But if he doesn't exist, how was May the aunt of Peter Parker? The writers indicated in interviews for the third film that while they considered giving Peter an Uncle Ben, hence the Easter eggs in earlier films, they ultimately decided he didn't have one. If one did exist in the MCU, Peter didn't really know him, or he and May had separated years earlier. This made May fill that narrative role instead. This was a Peter who became Spider-Man in spite of his Ben, rather than because of him. The Spider-Verse events explored this concept to some extent, and it was a fairly interesting take. But yeah, Aunt May is hot. So that was the video about some unanswered questions and theories about Spider-Man. And if you want to know the 24 mistakes that made Iron Man stronger, click on this video. You guys go watch that while I go flirt with Aunt May's grave.